Is Widowmaker's brainwashing failing? How does this new map tie into Talons' activity in Greece? And what other hints and Easter eggs about Widowmaker's current activities, her past, and possibly her future can we uncover? One of the first things I want to look at is the statue outside. Many people claim this is likely Eve, judging by the apple in her hand, but this is most likely not the case. This statue is more likely to be Aphrodite, the Greek goddess. This idea is supported by the other Greek statues around the property. Aphrodite also has ties to apples, one of which is especially interesting. In the story of the Judgment of Paris, the mortal human Paris must choose which goddess to give a golden apple to. He decides who is the fairest out of Hera, Athena and Aphrodite, and in the end he chooses Aphrodite. Now what's super interesting about this is that Hera and Athena are the two statues on the ruined stage of the Illios map, and we know that Talon have been active there. Could Widowmaker have stolen an entire statue from the site? We actually mentioned that this statue was missing back when we did a video looking at some of the lore on that map. If Widowmaker chose Aphrodite's statue, much in the same way that Paris chose the goddess, could that be foreshadowing Widowmaker's future? Because in the tale of Paris, his choice eventually led to the Trojan War. Also, with Mercy's new skin, it certainly feels like the Overwatch developers have Greek mythology on the mind. One of the most obvious bits of lore is found on Widowmaker's laptop, located on the table next to her rifle. The screen displays an email written in French, which, when translated to English, tells us that she made a reservation to be picked up by a limousine and then taken to the airport before boarding a flight to Monaco. This is clearly a reference to the happenings in the Doomfist comic, where Doomfist and Widow visit Monaco to discuss things with Maximilian. What is interesting, however, is the boarding pass for the flight to Monaco. It's made out to a Danielle Guillard. Now, we were told by Jeff in the developer update that Guillard is Widowmaker's maiden name from before she married, and this is also where the map gets its name from, being her family home. Presumably the ticket is for Widowmaker's use, so maybe Danielle is simply an alias that she uses to avoid detection. She is a wanted criminal after all, but could there be more to it? Could Danielle have been a family member, a sister or mother, whose identity is Widowmaker now using? Or if we wanted to go really crazy, what about if Danielle is an actual person who was on the flight with Widowmaker? Perhaps a younger sister who Widowmaker now must look after. That might explain why she's now using her family home as a base of operations. There is nothing to back up that idea, and it's super unlikely, but Widowmaker returning to her family home in itself is interesting. Widowmaker was brainwashed by Talon to a point where she could feel no remorse or emotion, and became a human weapon. But back at Christmas, we saw Widowmaker visiting her dead husband's grave, the man she had killed many years before. Now she's returned to what is presumably her childhood home, and we can see a picture of her and her late husband on a bookshelf near her other belongings. It seems like she's definitely feeling something in regards to her past. So could the brainwashing be failing, and Widowmaker is having to come to terms with the murder of her husband, and countless others? Another interesting element of the map is the coat of arms hanging in the dining hall. It actually provides some information about Widowmaker's family. The crown above it symbolises being a count, and then this is supported by the purple colouring. The stars and flowers are a little bit harder to decipher. Flowers in this context generally imply hope, and so far I've been unable to find a reference to this particular style of star, but it does bear a similarity to the Star of Bethlehem. Interestingly, there's also a white flower that bears the same name, which symbolises meanings of purity, innocence, truth and honesty. Perhaps these symbols are just random, but maybe the idea is to show just how much of a contrast there is between Widowmaker today and the woman she used to be. Back to the table with the laptop for a moment, as there's a couple more things to explore. Under the newspaper we can see two folders. On the closed one we can see the first letters of a word, S-O, meaning this is almost certainly looking at Sombra. So perhaps Widowmaker is looking into her extracurricular activities in the same way that Reaper is. The open folder is the same one from the Temple of Anubis about the character Shrike, who we know to be Anna. So it seems Widowmaker is possibly looking to finish the job she started when she took Anna's eye. Another interesting element from around the map is that renovations seem to be happening, as we can see painting tools and crates all around the building. Does this imply that Widowmaker only recently arrived at the home and is now looking to bring it back to grandeur? Much of the property seems to have aged very well, and it doesn't look like it's been abandoned for very long. Or maybe the renovations are quite far along, and Widowmaker has been having work done on the property for a while. The effort to restore her childhood home could also add some support to the theory of her returning emotions and connection to her past. Or maybe she just wants a nice house to go back to after a busy day of killing people. Lastly, there is a Black Widow located in the dining room. I don't think there's any hidden meaning here, but this is a pretty cool Easter egg nonetheless. So what do you think about our theories on the lore of Overwatch's latest map? I think the statue thing is fascinating, and if you have any thoughts about some of the meaning we missed in that coat of arms, I would be happy to hear it. As always, this is James Flaquest saying thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.